Wrestling fans, guys out there, I'm wondering, does WWE know what pay-per-view is coming up in just a couple weeks? Do they remember what pay-per-view is coming up in just a couple weeks? Because on WWE's calendar, at least in the fans' perspective, Money in the Bank is the 5th largest pay-per-view on the calendar year. It generates, outside of the big main 4, the Money in the Bank pay-per-view generates the most excitement. We talk about the Money in the Bank pay-per-view the most. Who's going to capture the Money in the Bank briefcase? Who will get that opportunity anytime within the next year and virtually become the next Universal or WWE champion? Who will become the next women's champion? It's pretty much a guaranteed. Money in the Bank, the pay-per-view, has always been one of the most talked and one of the big 5 pay-per-views. This year, WWE, both Raw and Smackdown, and I don't want to hear that it's because of the coronavirus. That's why the shows are not being as invested into. WWE really feels like they're not putting their best effort into building these shows. It really feels like they are going to bank all the fans' positive energy and hope that the show is going to get massive good ratings on the network on the Money in the Bank ladder matches themselves. Nothing else surrounding that. Not Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman, which I'm going to dive into tonight. Michael Cole. I know Vince McMahon, fed you those lines about it becoming a personal rivalry. I'm still waiting for an actual reason why it's personal. The only thing we've really seen out of these guys is Bray Wyatt giving Braun Strowman his old sheep mask. The black sheep. That's it. That and one Firefly Funhouse skit right when Bray Wyatt issued the challenge. That's it. So I don't know how personal this rivalry actually is, wrestling fans. I'm going to dive into that and so much more. But wrestling fans, before I do all that stuff, each and every one of you do yourselves a favor, and do me a favor as well, and you become a subscriber. That's how you do your favor, because I always put out great content here on the channel, whether it's my vlogs doing various things, or whether it's my Raw and Smackdown reviews and previews of the pay-per-view, reviews of pay-per-views. It's good content here on the channel. So if you're not a subscriber yet, I have no idea why you're not and what you're waiting for. Hit that subscribe button right now and make sure you hit that bell so you get all notifications. Now let's dive into the Smackdown review, shall we? Outside of the Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman segment, which pretty much ran down their entire history, which was pretty much Braun Strowman being a part of the Wyatt family, and then both individuals breaking off by themselves, and us seeing how they are now. What has led them to what they are now? That was it. Good story for both of them, but it's really not personal, if you ask me. I'm wondering how much we're supposed to be truly invested in a Lucha House Party. Seriously. Now, you wrestling fans out there might get a little bit invested. I don't know. If you do, we all have our opinion. But I'm having a hard time getting invested in a Lucha House Party. I'm glad that they got some TV exposure tonight. It's someone different. But just because they picked up a tag team victory doesn't say much for me. Even if it is over The Miz and John Morrison. Number one. And number two, Vince McMahon clearly showed what he thought of the Lucha House Party in the opening segment tonight, when The Miz and John Morrison just walked right on by the Lucha House Party like they were nothing in the opening segment, where we met the Lost Sons, something like that. I know I probably got their names wrong, but we got that new tag team that's been promoing, packaging over the last few weeks. The Lost Sons, something like that. Anyway, this new group that debuted tonight, I have concerns about them. Look cool, you know. Their gimmick used to be in war, used to be in battle, things like that. Came out with camo, you know, and things like real rough, you know. I really enjoyed that. But here's a problem, wrestling fans, and I think a lot of you out there would agree with this. WWE is not too high on factions. WWE is not too high on tag team wrestling. Not the biggest on it. And we did not get a ton of promos leading up to them debuting tonight. Yes, they took out the New Day. Good first impression. Good first impact in the WWE. But let me tell you, did it have to be the tag team champions? This could have had the same effect without the tag titles, in my eyes. They could have taken out the New Day without the tag titles, and it had just as much effect. And then the Miz and John Morrison could be in a rivalry with someone else, and they could have an effect with the tag team championships, and those could be utilized that way. WWE doesn't think that way. However, I smell trouble. Hopefully it doesn't happen for these guys, because there's just something about them that kind of reminds me of Sanity a little bit. That it's a three guys that can just run all over people, and I think Vince McMahon is going to get very tired of them soon. So I hope that doesn't happen, but I have to wait and see what happens in the future. Y'all let me know what you're thinking about it in the comments below. Carmella and Dana Brooke. I said it last week. Dana Brooke was not going to get the tag team championship because she won qualifying match to go in the Money in the Bank. What happened? She didn't get the tag team championship. What did they do? They showed that Carmella was getting an opportunity to go into the Money in the Bank matchup next week. You pretty much ruined it right there. You pretty much told us that Alexa Bliss and Nikki was going to retain their titles. That's it. You pretty much did right there. Now, wrestling fans, I'm glad, I'm happy that Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are defending those women's tag team championships. We're not seeing the tag titles just wasted away like we did with the Kabuki Jobbers, aka Asuka and Kairi Sane. Okay? Because when they had the tag titles, they did nothing with them. Asuka was busier in singles action than she was in tag team action. Okay, wrestling fans? So, I'm glad that they're on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross right now. At least they are doing something with the tag championships. Wrestling fans, outside of that, we had King Corbin. Okay, he's in Money in the Bank. Vince McMahon, please, in 2 weeks, do not make the decision. Please do not make the decision to have King Money in the Bank. Please. No one wants to see King Corbin win Money in the Bank. No one wants to see King Corbin go after the WWE Championship or Universal Championship, whichever one he decides. No one wants to see it. No one. So do spare us all and have him lose that matchup. Please. Aleister Black, Daniel Bryan, I don't care. Someone else. It just makes for a better match. Okay? With any one of those guys that's in the Money in the Bank matchup. Speaking of which, who will qualify next week to be in Money in the Bank? Is it going to be Dolph Ziggler or is it going to be Otis? I hope it's Dolph Ziggler. I hope it's Dolph Ziggler. Otis has had his win. Otis picked up the win at WrestleMania. Money in the Bank is not a match for Otis. He won't help make that match better. Dolph Ziggler can make that match better. It's a ladder match. He can excite that match better with doing moves off of it, falling off of it, things of that nature. Otis can't do that as much. And he can't do that as well. So, I hope Dolph Ziggler gets that spot next week. And we all know Carmella is more than likely going to beat Mandy Rose because of Sonya Deville. If Sonya Deville does not interrupt in that matchup and cost Mandy Rose the match, I'm surprised. I am seriously surprised. But y'all let me know what you're thinking about it in the comments below and tell me who you think is going to make Money in the Bank. Now, wrestling fans, outside of those things, we saw Sheamus have a jobber matchup, and Jeff Hardy's story continued, in which we are going to eventually see Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus, in which I seriously think that Jeff Hardy will pick up a victory over Sheamus. Jeff Hardy will return, and Sheamus will lose to Jeff Hardy. Sheamus clearly has a problem with Jeff Hardy, and I think Jeff Hardy will beat Sheamus. Clearly, that's what they're building to on Smackdown. Outside of that, nothing happened, and Smackdown was an overall pretty good show. There's nothing to really talk about when it comes to Triple H's 25th anniversary on Smackdown. I was hoping for so much more. You know, yes, they did show Road Dogg. Yes, they did show Ric Flair. Yes, Shawn Michaels came out and helped really that segment, because Triple H, when he got in the ring, he was mad because one of the cameraman or someone down there at ringside took his water bottle, so they screwed up his entrance like he always does, spitting the water out at the camera and into the audience. So it really looked like he was mad about that. So they sent Shawn Michaels down there, which was probably the plan, sending Shawn Michaels down there. But they probably sent him down there a little bit sooner than what they were supposed to, because it really looked like Triple H was just caught up and they had to do something. I honestly thought it was funny that they took the water away from him and he got irritated. And of course, the WrestleMania losses and everything that they did was kind of humorous. But overall, there wasn't too much to say about that 25th anniversary. Triple H was on the show simply to draw ratings for SmackDown. And honestly, that's why Vince McMahon came out too, to keep people on and reach that 9 o'clock hour spot. So, y'all let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. I'm getting out of here. Give me a like. Give me a comment. And make sure you share this and do everything I said at the beginning, which is become a subscriber. Helps out the channel. Helps pushes out the video. And the channel grows, more people know. And that is always very important to me and everybody who watches and helps this channel out. So, until I see you again, this is Webby, and I'll catch each and every one of you on the other side. Talk to you later.